Hi everyone, welcome to Ancestry Unpacked. Today is a tip session and we're going to dive into GEDCOM files following a question from one of our watchers. So what exactly is a GEDCOM file? Well, basically it's a way that we can share family history information with us, with and between different programs because it is a standard format. So it contains the data from your tree. So it's the names, it's the dates, it's the places, but it's only text. So it doesn't include the images, the documents, all of those sort of things that you add into your tree, including things like tags and bits and pieces like that in the ancestry tree. So you might be thinking, well, why do I need to know this? I'm building my tree in Ancestry. I'm perfectly happy there. Absolutely. But sometimes you do need a GEDCOM file for other things. So, for example, maybe you need to put a copy on a different database or into a different family history program. So you need to download your tree from Ancestry via a GEDCOM file to be able to put it into a different database. Now, I use both Ancestry and I have an offline database as well. So making sure that the two of those are in sync can be a really useful thing to do. It may be that I want to run some of the reports that I can get out of my other program that I can't get off the Ancestry program. So I'm using it to do reports and things like that. The other thing you might want to be able to do is share it with another genealogist. So maybe they don't use Ancestry, maybe they want only part of your family tree and you only want to give them access to part of your tree. So again, you can download a GEDCOM file to be able to manipulate and do things like that with your tree. The other thing is there are a number of tools that are built outside of Ancestry that are used to analyze your information in your tree. Maybe you want to work with something. Maybe you want to do a bit of a tidy up. Some of those things you can do in Ancestry. Sometimes it's easier to do it outside of Ancestry. So you're just going to want to use it in other tools or within your own things that you're doing. And the last one is a simple backup. Sometimes it's good to make sure that you have control of your own data, and having a backup outside of Ancestry is one way of doing that. So how do you get that file? Well, you go into your tree settings. I've shown you this before. So go to tree settings and you'll see an option there that says manage your tree. So make sure you're in the right tree if you have multiple trees for the one that you actually want to download. And you'll see a button there that says export tree. So you can go in and export your tree. Now, this has been an updated screen. It wasn't the same when I last taught you about exporting your tree, but it now points out the fact that you won't get the images, you won't get the attached media, you don't get the networks, the tree rating, any of the other things like stickies and tree tags and comments and things like that. So you don't get any of that when you download your GEDCOM file or export your GEDCOM file. You get the people and you get information from the saved records. So I can click on export. It will come up and it will tell me that it is generating the GEDCOM file and it will take X amount of time. Now, depending on how big your family tree is, will depend on how long that time is to export it. So you can see mine was just starting as I grabbed this screenshot. It didn't take very long. It's not a very big tree. And I then get this button here that says download your GEDCOM file. So that's all ready for me to go in and access that tree. There's also some little download tips there. So if you have a problem with that file download button for some reason, this will take you through some ideas of how else you can do it. So I click on that and it gives me what we would call a zip file to download. So it comes in and it's the name of the tree. So it's the Memories in Time project because that is the tree name, and it comes as a zip file. Now, a zip file is just a file that is compressed. So you can see this one is 33 kilobytes, which is reasonably tiny. And on your computer, you will have tools to unzip that zipped file. So for me on a PC, I can right click on it and click on extract, and that will then give me my file here. That is the full tree. So I've now got a file called the Memories in Time Project GED, GEDCOM file, and you can see that's now 199 kilobytes. You can see how the zip had made it a smaller file. Now, Some of you are going to want to click and have a look at that file. Now, I thought I'd better show you what one looks like, but really, most of the time you won't actually ever go into the file. You'll just use it as the vehicle to transport your information from one place to another. But just so you can have a look what one looks like. Here's one here. This is the file I downloaded. When it opens up in the notebook program on your computer or on a PC. So here I can see lots of different lines. As I say, it is all text. So it's almost like an old-fashioned sort of file that we don't get to see a lot of these days. But there are lots and lots of lines that represent all the different things that you know about the individuals in your tree. And if I wanted to get really geeky about it, I could start telling you about the file structure, but you don't need to know this to use a GEDCOM file. But just in case you want to be a little bit geeky, like me sometimes, I just wanted to show you it's a little bit like a family tree. You have each row has a number at the start of it, and that tells you the level. So 0 is the top of the file. 1 is where you'll find someone's name, their sex, the families that they're linked to, their birth date, their residence, and any sources. And if I look under name, I'll get a level 2, which gives me the given name and the surname. And there's abbreviations that are floating around in there. So you don't need to know that, but just in case you wondered how it works. And just as we can download a file, we can also upload a GEDCOM file as well. So maybe someone else has given you a file, maybe you have been using another program and you're now wanting to put that tree onto Ancestry. All you have to do is go to the home page at the top or the trees button at the top, click on that and you'll see a create and manage trees. I've just shaded some tree names out there, just if you're wondering what those big grey spots are. But I can click on the create and manage trees, and down the bottom of the screen there, I have an upload a GEDCOM file. So just like I had an export, now I've got an upload. And in there, it basically gives me two little things. One is to go and choose the file. So I will go and navigate to on my computer where that GEDCOM file is saved. I then get to name that family tree, so give it a name that will make sense to me in the future. I have a choice there about whether I want to make the tree public or private, and I've discussed that with you all before, what the difference is between public trees and private trees. And there's a little bit more space there as well to write optional notes or details about the family tree as well. And then once it's uploaded, it's available just like any of the other trees on my computer for me to go and add some of those fabulous resources that you can find at Ancestry. Join us every Friday at Ancestry Unpacked with Talking Family History, where we'll go either a webinar, a tips, or a news with you. So thank you for watching. I'm Fiona Brooker, and we look forward to seeing you in the future.